Danny, is that your take? Because I don't know how else that could be on.
Too hot. Again, we have an issue with the bottom line.
Stay tuned, bro.
We have some editorial standards for the show and some rogue bottom line. The question is, are we underplaying Dak's role in
Basically, did Dak deserve it?
No, that's
Even if he did it on purpose,
Again,
I'm here for it.
too hot.
Don't fall
That's
for the bait.
also too hot.
I'm here for it.
Meanwhile, Chiefs on upset alert.
That's also too hot.
That's not too. You know what? Line 3, Dynasty. Come on. But right now, Jalen Hurts. Just the line intrigued me. Jordan-esque. Jordan in attendance. Jalen hits the shrug. Little cross promotion for his new cleats. Here's Jalen post-game. Great photo. Save some footage.
Was Jordan's presence here significant to you? And was the touchdown celebration a tribute to him?
Yeah. You know, when you have a special guest, special friend in attendance, you know, there's only one thing you can do, and that's to win. So, got a lot of love for him.
Just great. 2 winners. More or less faith in Philly and Jalen Hurts' winning ways, bro.
I mean, look, Jalen was great. I have nothing negative to say about the way Jalen played at all, although I did voice concern about him he took some hits.
Yeah.
Ran 14 times. I don't think he'll get hurt where he won't be able to play, but could that slow him down over the course of the season? Then those 2 touchdowns he ran for, he can't run for those, you know, with the speed that he did. So that's just a little something to concern. But he looked great. But I don't think anyone that has picked the Eagles to repeat or even repeat as NFC champions would be emboldened by what they saw last night. Like, even if you say their best defensive player wasn't there, Dallas isn't running the football like that, they get a little more pressure if Jalen Carter's there. That's all well and good, but still, they did not look great. Now, and I firmly think they'll get better. I still think they're certainly a contender. I didn't pick them to win the NFC anyway, but they didn't run the ball down Dallas's throat. Dallas actually averaged 5.5 yards a carry. They couldn't get their outside receivers involved in the game. There was a lot that was left to be desired by the Eagles last night. So still a very good team, still a contender. But, yeah, I got less faith in them than I had 24 hours ago.
So, like you, I didn't pick the Eagles to come out of the NFC, and I have been skeptical of how much of a role Jalen Hurts has in this whole operation. Like, is he a product of the circumstances around him? But I actually came out of it with more faith, and I'll tell you why.
Love it.
Because, first of all, that was a weird game. Like, player gets injured on the kickoff, out for the game. Then best defensive player doesn't even get to play a snap, spits on Dak Prescott. Then it's banner night, but they had been acting like they didn't know about it, didn't care. Just weird things have happened in the openers. We've seen that in the past. Then the lightning delay. It was just weird. But you guys talked about it earlier in the show, and I felt like it should be spotlighted a little bit more. Jalen Hurts specifically added something to his game last night that we haven't seen from him in the last 3 years. And I do think that his rushing touchdowns, they're not all created equal. Those scrambles last night, you guys were kind of debating earlier, are they more valuable than the tush push? I would say yes, because a lot of people can get 1-yard touchdown runs. But when you drop back to pass and then you scramble for touchdowns, he had done that twice in 47 games.
That's a shocking stat.
Yes,
I didn't know that.
All of his touchdown runs were designed runs. 2 in the last 3 years on scrambles, and he had 2 on scrambles last night. When you do that, and you saw Dallas struggling with it, should we spy on Jalen Hurts? Should we not spy on Jalen Hurts? He hasn't traditionally been a quarterback that you have to QB spy.
Right.
Because when he runs.
That's why they didn't, yeah.
Exactly. But when he runs, it's telegraphed. If he's added that to his game, that is going to pay huge dividends for them offensively.
Little dose of Josh Allen.
Yeah. Josh, Lamar, Mike Vick, the truly great running quarterbacks are dropping back to pass and then can run off of it. That is a huge change for Jalen Hurts last year.
It's 100% of the great Mahomes runs are scrambles.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like they're never doing design runs with him. And so yeah, the quarterback scramble is like the most efficient play in football because when you're not defending for
right.
And so that part I agree with. But that to me, Jalen Hurts' play was the only bright spot of the entire game for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, other than the fact that they won.
Yeah, I think that when you are a minus 400 favorite, it is a catastrophe if you lose. You are expected to win. You're the biggest favorite of the weekend. They're as big of a favorite as the Broncos over the Titans, and you were talking about, that being your somewhat shocking upset alert.
Sure.
And everything, here's why my answer is way less and why I think that we are going to reference this game a bunch over the course of the year. I think that if Philadelphia ends up being a 10-7 playoff team, but not even necessarily a division winner and a team that doesn't look like they're, really strongly defending their championship, we're going to reference what we saw in week 1. The lack of discipline. It wasn't just Jalen Carter, but that was the most obvious one. Right. Penalties all over the place. The new offensive coordinator, 3 days before the game, being like, I know how important it is to get my best players involved. Some guys even write down the names on the play sheet. And then A.J. Brown never gets the ball. Saquon not having the type of impact he had last year. That's my least of my concerns, to be honest, but still.
He'll be fine.
60, right, but I don't think he's going to have 2,000 yards.
No.
15
schedule.
Say it again.
Behind schedule.
And most importantly, Brew, they have a real question on defense, which is pass rush plus secondary, like pass defense. It's why today they signed Zadarius Smith.
Right.
And so all of those things, to me, give me less faith. I agree with you, Danny. You and I have been certainly more skeptical of Jalen than Wilds, and I think maybe more skeptical even than the average fan. I thought he was excellent last night. I thought your point on Twitter that he was the best player on the field was correct.
Yeah.
And I very, very rarely thought that last year. And so, because usually it felt like it was Saquon.
Only time I'll give a little bit of confidence to Philly, because I do think less faith is the conventional wisdom, since it's kind of an ugly game. To beat a division foe that was probably underrated by Vegas, I would say, once we saw them actually on the field. And like you said, Dak is like, people forget about how good Dak Prescott is. With getting nothing from A.J. Brown and nothing from Devontae Smith, 4 catches for 24 yards, a lackluster game from Saquon, and still be able to put up 24 points. Maybe some fortuitous drops, but if those guys had average games, what does this game look like?
Sure.
Yeah, and losing Jalen Carter before he takes a snap. A pretty significant development.
CeeDee Lamb makes some catches, they lose that game probably. Miles Sanders doesn't fumble, they lose that
question.
game. So there's that.
That was the football gods for that silly penalty. Cowboys were 8.5 point underdogs, same line as Titans Broncos. Looks good, had a few drops. Schottenheimer, super optimistic. Take a listen.
I still think we can win a Super Bowl. That's the goal, Todd. It's not going to change. I mean, we got the right type of guys. We got good players. Again, like I said, you saw what we're capable of in the first half offensively. You saw what we're capable of in the second half defensively. We just got to put the game together in a more complementary fashion because that's what we're capable of.
Professional-looking visor and outfit there. Did Dallas prove that they're contenders to you, Danny? I know this is a hot question for you.
Yeah, well, because let's just say I disagree with Brian Schottenheimer. I do not think they can still win the Super Bowl. But Dallas, I think, impressed all of us. Like, they exceeded expectations. I heard you say you went into the movie with no expectations and you were pleasantly surprised with how entertaining it was. Dak Prescott looked awesome. Like, Dak Prescott, talk about numbers not telling the story.
That part I agree with. I think his numbers were wildly misleading.
He had 188 passing yards, and he probably had over 100 yards worth of drops. Like, the fact that he had no touchdowns out of that game was kind of shocking when I woke up and checked the box. No touchdowns for Dak Prescott, huh? But also, Cowboys rushed for 2 touchdowns, right? They had 6 rushing touchdowns all of last year. They were the second worst red zone team in the NFL, 2 of 3 touchdowns in the red zone. And they had 5 yards per carry and didn't allow a sack for the first time since week 12 of 2023. There's a lot to build on there from Dallas just all around.
I hate to do this to you because I might be embarrassing myself and maybe I'm doing it to you. They had 6 rushing touchdowns last season.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
They had the first 2 drives of the game.
I got to tell you, I did not know that.
Remember we said
that
they couldn't
seems,
run the
I
ball?
know, but 6 rushing touchdowns.
And most
like,
of them were probably at the end of the season.
Yeah, when you said that, I was like, oh, that's got to be wrong. But I was like, what else could it be? Oh,
Worse in the NFL,
No, that 6
last
is,
place.
6 is I'm embarrassed I didn't know that because it seems like the type of stat I should know. That is a shocking number.
That's why I'm
Well
here,
done.
buddy.
Yeah, good job.
But I'm just saying, so like, contenders know, but way better than we thought and way better
Are they
than last
inching
year.
up to contender? If they put on another, who do they have next week? Sorry.
What do you?
Giants.
How do you
Giants.
define as
Well, see,
contender?
that-
Great question.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Great question.
Thank you, Nick.
They're contending.
For
You can be playoff adjacent. It's kind of
a playoff contender,
I can give you a
perhaps.
playoff contender.
They are
You get into the
definitely
dance.
not a Super Bowl contender.
Well, are they a
Definitely
playoff contender?
not.
Well, if they get in the playoffs,
a lower run. Really,
But once you're in the playoffs,
But what
you're a
he's
contender.
saying, though, is like if you think the Eagles are a
Pittsburgh's
Super
been in the playoffs the last few years.
Right.
None of us have thought of them as a playoff contender.
A
as
Super Bowl contender.
Right, but you think the Eagles are a Super Bowl contender.
Absolutely.
And you said if CD catches the ball, Dallas wins the
It's
game.
one game. I mean, you lose games to worse teams all the time.
Can I,
Transit
Brew,
fraud.
do you agree with me on this, though? Because I think they are clearly not contenders. That's also why I think the Eagles are not, like, that's why I'm ready to write them.
You ready to say they're not even contenders
Well,
anymore?
no, I'm just ready to say this Eagles team we saw last night's not getting back to the Super Bowl. Now, if you think the Eagles, not you, the generic you, think the Eagles are still the favorites to win the whole thing, then I feel like you have to, if you like the Eagles are the best team in football, you have to then say the Cowboys are,
No.
in the top 12,
You
like
don't.
in the mix.
Look at how many games the Chiefs had close last year. Could have lost to Denver. Could have lost to the Chargers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But Denver and the
had
Chargers
those
made
with,
the playoffs.
with teams though. But even some of the games where teams weren't.
The Raider
contenders.
game? Okay.
Yeah. So I just think.
Can I flip it, bro? How about this? We thought they were going to be abysmal.
Yeah,
Doesn't
they're
it feel
better
like
than
that's
we
off
thought.
off the board now?
Yeah, they're not abysmal.
Weren't
Well,
they
look,
like-
I will say this. Let's see what happens against the Giants.
Sure.
Because, like, Coach has the Giants better than the Cowboys. It might have just been a bad performance from the Eagles. It might have been contrary to what I had been saying. Maybe they did relax and take them lightly when Micah's not there. Maybe Jalen Carter being, kicked out of the game rocked their world. I'm definitely not saying the Cowboys are Super Bowl contenders. I don't think they'll make the playoffs. I think they're contender adjacent.
7.5 over under. That's what it was entering the year.
Right, and it's probably still that.
Now-
Because they
got a
lost,
tough
but they
schedule,
looked better.
too.
All right, hold on.
Because don't
Can I-
they got the NFC North and the AFC West.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are their schedules.
So can I,
in addition to their own tough division.
Danny, can I try off on you the take that I liked so much I forced into the show and then Coach just made fun of me the whole time while kicking me in the shins when I did it?
So that could be my role here?
No, I think you're going to like it more. I hope. What they did prove to me last night was, had they not traded Micah Parsons, they might have been. Do you buy that?
I don't think they win that game if they have Micah. I don't think he solves that problem for them last night.
We just talked about Jalen Hurts in 3 years had 2 scrambling touchdowns.
But he's
you know
not.
what?
Micah Parsons doesn't stop the run.
He stops the quarterback from scrambling. Micah Parsons is not good again. I actually disagree with the idea